Hello, welcome back to another episode of Hungover with Oliver's Greenhouse. I am suffering from a ferocious hangover this morning because, like an idiot, I went out with friends and did far too much drinking. So I'm going to try and be very enthusiastic and mobile and animated, like in all my other videos, for your sake. So I thought to myself when I woke up, oh my God, I feel awful. But then I also thought to myself, I should really use this time. The kids and the wife's out, so I've got a bit of time to come into the greenhouse, and let's have a look at some plants. So, well, actually, we're only going to look at one plant, and that's right behind me, and it is my Pleurothallis restrepioides, which is massively in bloom at the moment. So I thought we could have a look at this guy and talk about how I grow it, and how hopefully you too can successfully grow it. Because it's a cracking plant. This is a real big one, this one. I've had it for a while. It's made quite a few kikis. It needs dividing, basically, at some point. Kikis are produced very readily on the plant. They produce their own little root system, and they're pretty much ready to just snap off and pot up. But it produces these really, really beautiful pendant racemes of flowers. And it's really, really stunning plant. So the light's not very good today because it's winter, so it's basically England spends the whole of its winter period, especially Christmas period, basically under a giant grey cloud, which doesn't leave until the end of March usually. So the light's not great, but I'll move the plant down and we'll have a look at it because the flowers are really quite striking. Right, I've tried to make the most of the space we've got. As usual, the only real clear space I've got in the greenhouse at the moment is up here next to the fan on top of the swamp cooler, because in winter I have to wrap the inside of the greenhouse completely, which means I can't really hang stuff off of the roof, and it's a real pain in the backside. So this really is the only place I've got to look at stuff. Also over here, we've got Paphiopedilum, Jersey freckles. This one's got a bit of a mutated cup on it here. This was divided from my monster plant, which I'd had for many years. This guy's just opening it as well. Much more uniform asymmetrical cup to the bottom of the flower. So that guy's in bloom as well. I thought I'd just show you that whilst I'm prattling on about this plant over here. So back to Mr. Pleurothallis. It's growing in sphagnum moss, grow stone, and some small bark media, all sort of mixed. It's my usual sort of orchid potting media. I've even got a little pingwick here that's been pushed in there, which is growing away quite happily. They don't seem to mind the fertilisation at all. And it produces little kikis. I'm going to zoom in. There's a bit of sooty mould on some of it, so I'm going to move that big leaf out of the way. But centre a shot there. You've got these are the little kikis that it produces, and that's got sort of 5 or 6 pretty well developed roots. That's ready to snap off now. That can just be snapped off and potted up, and that will grow away quite happily. It'll be able to sustain itself. But the most fantastical thing about this plant is its blooms. Now they emerge like this from the leaf axial. This is a developing flower spike, so they emerge from the leaf axials like this down here out of a little sheath, and they grow up and extend and eventually form great big long sort of chains of these beautiful purple spotted flowers that have no discernible scent, but they are really, really very beautiful. And it's put up lots and lots of flower spikes this year. It did one last year, and then this year it's just gone mad. I should count, see how many there are on it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 flower spikes on it this year. What I'll do is I'll get one of the more impressive flower inflorescences, and I'll turn it round and get it into a position where we can have a bit of a closer look at it. Hopefully the camera's going to focus on it as well, not the background. We'll try that and see how we get on. Oh yeah, it is perfect, absolutely perfect. So they sort of hang upside down. There's a bud there that got snapped. Get rid of that guy. Whoop, there we go. So they're almost see-through. They're a very unusual sort of coloration. If I put my finger behind them, I can actually see my finger through the flowers, which is a bit like some of the Scaphocephalum blooms. They're almost completely see-through apart from the markings. And they hang in these lovely little chains like this, not fully open yet, but it's on its way. And what I'll do is I'm going to take one of the flowers off so we can have a closer look. There we go. Right. So this flower would normally hang upside down like that. I've taken it off so we can have a little bit of a closer look of its actual features. So it's very cup shaped, and it's got a little tongue inside it there, which obviously covers the calyx of the flower. And you've got these almost completely see-through leaves, petals. You can see my finger right the way through it. We can take that off of there so we can have a look at the actual flower in a little bit better detail. There we go. You can see the anthers in there and the little lip that moves up and down, allowing access to the nectar rewards. So yeah, very pretty. There's a real close-up look at the flower and what it looks like. So most Pleurothallis genus orchids are known to be cool growing. This is certainly a cool growing, I believe it's from Ecuador, cool growing species, grows up in the cloud forests at reasonably high elevations. From what I've read about this particular species, restrepioides is quite tolerant of changing. It can be basically grown cool, intermediate, or I think even warm, although probably not on the hot side of warm, I wouldn't imagine. Like I said, it's kept under cool to intermediate conditions here. I struggle to sort of balance between the orchids and the nepenthes, because the nepenthes really like that that temperature drop in the evening, so they like it down to sort of like 13, 14 degrees. So a lot of the bulbophyllums are warm growing, or certainly prefer conditions a lot warmer than that. So I sort of balance it in between. So this guy's getting 14-degree minimum nighttime temperatures, and during the daytime I only really allow ambient heating of the greenhouse. So that's probably why a lot of Pleurothallis and their alliance species as well do really, really well in this environment. This time of year, all of the Pleurothallis, the restrepioides, the Scaphosepalum, the poroglossums, everything goes, oh, that's lovely. They really, really enjoy that. So that's the temperature I keep it at. Regular watering, they like being fed. Apparently you can grow this quite bright. I did have it closer to the window for a while, or to the edge of the greenhouse, and it started to go really like light grassy green, and I didn't think it was appreciating it. So I backed it off and now grow it over here on the back wall with the other orchids, where it's much, much cooler. And it seems to be happy. I get at least, I would say, I don't know, 2 to 3 leaves every month. Or every couple of months. Produces kikis really quickly. You can snap them off and hurriedly create a little colony of these just by vegetative division, basically. So yeah, a great little plant. Grow it cool, regular fertilisation, not too much sunlight, and this will be due for a repot. It's due for a repot now, so it's been in the pot for a year. So once it's finished blooming, oh, so the wind's windy, stormy. All the shade cloths lifting off the greenhouse and flapping about. I've still got shade cloth up because it can be deceptively bright, or it can get deceptively bright in here. And like I say, a lot of the orchids just do not appreciate that at all. So we keep the shade cloth on all year round. So yeah, a great little plant. I'm not going to keep this video going on any longer because I'll just end up prattling on about nothing. So I just wanted to show you this whilst it's in bloom, because it really is quite an impressive plant. It's obtained some decent stature. I'm assuming this is probably mature height. I'm not expecting these leaves to get any bigger. This one here has got a bit of a funny shape to it because it got aphid attacked. There is now no alive aphids on it. It got hit with the neem and pyrethrin combo, and that wiped those out. That's the trouble. Keep getting, despite all of my best efforts last year, we're taking all the plants out, nuking everything, going around everything with J's fluids and just cleaning the whole place top to bottom. Still get the odd outbreak of aphids. I don't know whether they're existing in an egg state, or they've somehow developed, I don't know, the ability to regenerate out of just pure atmosphere. I have no idea, but they keep turning up every now and again. So I'm being particularly watchful at the moment, because there's a lot of plants in here that I really, really do not want them on. And before we close off the video, the flower spike on the bulbophyllum, Elizabeth and buckleberry is developing beautifully at some rates. So this will be a first time bloomer for me. And as soon as that's done as well, this needs a repot. No, it doesn't smell bad, but it does need a repot. So yeah, as soon as that goes out in flower, you can bet your bottom dollar it will be there'll be a video going on about, because I'm excited. I bought that bulbophyllum flipping ages ago and it's never bloomed for me, so I'm super excited about that. So thanks for watching. Only a short video. I feel terrible. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. Really appreciate the support my patrons are still giving us, and I will see you all again soon on another episode of Oliver's Greenhouse. Thanks for watching.